Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and please welcome to our Operation Freedom platform, WeThePeopleProcessing.com. You know, are you tired of being threatened to be canceled just because you have a company focused on liberty and freedom? Well, worry no more, folks. WeThePeopleProcessing.com is your go-to merchant services, freedom-based company to provide business service payment solutions. We the People Processing provides their clients a cancel culture-free platform which is domestically based. They provide competitive rates, no contracts with next-day funding, a fully vetted and like-minded financial infrastructure, and full support for integrations, implementation, and e-commerce efforts. Bottom line, WeThePeopleProcessing.com focuses on defending your company's free market growth, values, and future. Check them out at www.WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Once you're on the site, enter in password Operation Freedom or call 855-499-2024. That's WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Then, when on the website, enter Operation Freedom as your password or call 855-499-2024.
Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you state
She's
categorically?
asking a question.
Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You are
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a
question.
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today, and I'd like to thank you for, searching out even more of our content at davejanda.com. You see, and today's title is called The Desperate Censors. Oh, they're desperate, right. Which is why we have had to move the in-depth content from the social media platforms and get it out of the hands of the censors and put it on davejanda.com. There's a tremendous amount of free content there where we go into depth that cannot be addressed on this platform, on Rumble, on Twitter, you name it. And you see, it's one thing if it's an issue related to something that doesn't involve the health and welfare of every person who potentially will view a video. But that's exactly what we speak about. I bring to you 32 years of clinical experience on the front line of healthcare delivery, from the ER to the OR to the clinic. I also bring to you over 30 years experience of being actively involved in prevention-related research. This is why the bought-off lamestream fake media will never touch information that we present here. It's why they want to censor what I do and how I do it, which is why I have established and put a tremendous amount of money and time into davejanda.com. So that when people go there, the content is protected and they're protected. And then they can take that information and network it. We have a tremendous amount of free content there. Listen, for the radio show, every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern, it's live and it's free. Go to davejanda.com, hit the Listen Live button, takes you to Wham Talk 1600 streaming service, hit play, and you're with us. Now, if you want the podcast, it's part of the subscription service. You want the archives to all of our other shows, it's part of the subscription service. You want our geopolitical, in-depth WTF show every Wednesday, a video format show that I do, that I put people months, if not years ahead of the curve, that's part of the subscription platform. You want the Insider Insight interviews where we bring somebody behind the screen and the wall to speak about things that we can't speak about on public platforms, that's part of the subscription service. But we also take some of those interviews, portions of them, and put them on the free side. And the hope, and this is what's been happening, is you take that information and you network it to anyone and everyone you know. the more people we have educated with the facts and the truth and the data and the science, the more people we have empowered. And the more people we have empowered, the sooner we end this reign of terror and fear by the deep state, because fear is the number one thing in their playbook that focuses on dividing and conquering the populace, which keeps the fearmongers in power, in control, and making a whole lot of moolah. On Operation Freedom, I've been speaking about inflation, supply chain issues, and voting with your hard-earned dollars and how to make a difference. Look, we all know over the past couple years how the globalist syndicate has done quite well. And while middle America, small and medium-sized American-made businesses have suffered while the big box stores have prospered. Many people believe, well, there's nothing you can do about it. I believe there is, folks. I believe there is. That's the good news. We need to vote with our dollars. That is how we make a difference. What if there was a better way to utilize our resources that we have earned to support small and medium-sized businesses rather than these big box stores or the globalist syndicate? Look, businesses that do not rely on cargo ships from far-off distant lands, that are American-based businesses, are the key. And that is where patriotswitch.com gives you and me the ability to help each other. Rather than continuing to give our money to the big box stores or the globalist syndicate, if you will. That's why patriotswitch.com was created, to help provide products from family-owned, American-made businesses and companies and provide it to folks like you and me. That's patriotswitch.com, patriotswitch.com. But when you suppress information as it relates to medical information, you put everyone in harm's way. And that's the huge disservice, evil disservice. That's not hyperbole. It's truly evil. Because by blocking information, you're blocking people's comprehensive information that they can then use when it comes times to consenting to a medical intervention. And that's exactly what's happening. Look at what happened with us on Twitter over a year ago. We were deplatformed because we called it the freedom stripping. I can't even say the word here, right? Why were we deplatformed? Because those three words, freedom stripping in quotes, took apart their entire narrative, and they couldn't let that out. It's the same reason why I can't speak about here, because it addresses what they're about and their narrative and what they're trying to do, which is why I do that at davejanda.com, both the free side, the public side, as well as the subscription side, only in more in depth. The censoring of medical information from people that have a medical background is harming every person, and ultimately will harm the people associated with this platform that run it. Because a huge awakening has been occurring around our country and around the world. And it's because people have tuned off and tuned out of the bought-off, lamestream fake media and tuned in to the independent media, of which we are one player in that. And in the process, people have become more educated and more empowered and more informed, and then have taken that information, this bucket brigade of truth, and network it to their friends and families and neighbors and coworkers. And sometimes the reaction is kind of like, no. If that was the case, we'd hear about it on whatever, CNN and Fox and no. And they've come to realize maybe when you brought them information at first and they didn't buy it, okay, fair enough, but they researched it. Or they just waited for time to pass and, hey, that information that my friend told me, I heard about through the independent media 6 months ago, it's actually happening now. They were not only right, but they were way ahead of the curve. I'm going to find out what else they have to say. But every time they deplatform one of us or suppress what we can talk about this and this on this platform, all they do is they bring about a quicker awakening. Because there's still the brain dead out there that will say, if they're deplatformed, they must be bad. But over time, many of the people that had that same philosophy are now coming back saying, you know what? I think I was misled by these people that deplatformed these other people that were actually telling me things that were 6 months, 9 months, a year ago, 2 years ago, that are happening now. Maybe I better find where they're at. Find out what they're saying now. And that's exactly what's happening. And the powers that think they are, not that be, but think they are doing everything possible to suppress this information coming out. Look, I still use this platform to try to get basic information out so you can then go to davejanda.com or to the radio show through davejanda.com. But the powers that think they are failing miserably. Look at one. Twitter just suspended the inventor of the mRNA platform, Dr. Robert Malone. It's the guy who invented it. From Zero Hedge, after months of providing valuable information that runs counter to the official narrative, Twitter has finally banned Dr. Robert Malone, inventor of mRNA technology. He has been an outspoken critic of both, as well as abysmal failures of policymakers worldwide in responding to the... They thought they were being cute. I mean, look at what they do with this platform. They give you numbers of people, so people say, "Hey, let's whatever number's there, let's cut it by 95% on the view counts, so that people don't think it's popular, and let's not put it in the searches." That's exactly what they're doing. But they're failing. Because you're watching the videos, you're laughing at the numbers you see, and then you're networking it to your friends and family, and coworkers, and neighbors. We know that based on the feedback we have coming into our website at davejanda.com. Glenn Greenwald, the investigative journalist, not exactly a far-right guy, or even a shade to the right. Glenn Greenwald slams dystopian Twitter ban in epic thread. Glenn Greenwald has written yet another blistering indictment of censorship in response to Twitter's permanent suspension of Representative Member of Congress, Green. Having unelected tech oligarchs ban duly elected members of Congress or even the sitting president from using their massive platform is dystopian. Remember how many world leaders warned that Facebook and Twitter's banning of Trump was a threat to democracy. As American liberals, including their journalists, yet again, I wouldn't say liberal, I would call them globalists, really, because it doesn't matter R or D after the name. One political party, as I've outlined to you for many years, called the Republicrats, that are all owned and operated by a criminal syndicate, and call that the globalists, the deep state, the New World Order crowd, the totalitarian thugs, whatever you want to call it. Yet again, celebrate and express gratitude to tech giants for silencing their political enemies. Even elected officials compare their mindset to how the rest of the democratic world thinks to see how authoritarian they are. U.S. globalists don't realize what a rogue and authoritarian faction they are because their media outlets keep all dissent from them. When tech banned Trump, it was denounced as dangerous even by Merkel and UN and even EU officials. Even as their party and leaders are overwhelmingly funded by large corporations, Wall Street and Silicon Valley, Democrats and liberals and globalists still like to posture as opponents of corporate power, yet they crave having unelected executives control and police political discourse. One last point, this censorship is not the sole decision of tech companies. Globalists are using their majoritarian and DC power to threaten that they will pay unless they censor more. That's a union of state and corporate power and implicates the First Amendment. Oh, you better believe it. But it's to the extreme now. The government of Alberta in Canada says you're not allowed to see disinformation. This from Alex Berenson, former New York Times science journalist. The Canadian province of Alberta has censored data showing a huge increase in deaths in people following their first. It was on the province of Alberta's website. And you know what? As Alex points out, well, it was there, but, well, not. It's gone. They've been removed, the data, from the official government's own website without notice. Not even a note claiming the data's being updated or double-checked or anything. They're gone. So occasionally, some honest person in the government put some data there that said that, well, there were huge increases in infections and in deaths in people that had, yeah. And then the powers that think they are said, oh, truth, get that out of there. Censor. Wow. Then DirecTV. DirecTV cancels OAN, One American News, after Joe Biden orders media outlets and tech giants to banish voices that deviate from the regime's official narrative. This from Jim Heft. Joe Biden ordered the far-left tech giants and media outlets to banish voices that deviated from the regime's official narrative. Joe Biden stated, quote, this is on January 13th, quote, I make a special appeal to social media companies and media outlets. Please deal with this misinformation and disinformation that's on your own shows. It has to stop, end quote. El Demente, right? In World War II, we had Mussolini, El Duce. We got El Demente. Right? But what does it do? It awakens more. So more people say, wait. You're banning an entire network? What? Even here. Even the zealots in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor out that window are like, well, wait, it's not right. Then we had this. The Pfizer CEO said that their, quote, offers limited, if any, protection, end quote, from Katie Pavlich. Speaking during remarks to a J.P. Morgan healthcare conference, by the way, Moderna pulled out of that because there were reports coming out about and a particular cardiac issue. They didn't want to be confronted, so not going to show up. But the Pfizer CEO did, Albert Bourla, who openly stated that that the company developed offer, quote, limited, if any, protection against contracting the disease. So that was like on January 11th. On January 14th, are you ready for this? So that was like on YouTube, and that was on Twitter, and that was, right? On January 14th, the Pfizer Corporation filed a copyright claim to remove and censor the video of Pfizer's own CEO. That two of their offers, quote, limited protection, if any. Poll finds only 10% of Americans trust media on COVID. 30% only trust Fauci. I think that's a high estimate, actually. It's from Zero Hedge and also from Summit News. A poll has found that just 10% of Americans trust the media when it comes to information about, while just over 30% trust Fauci. It asked participants, when it comes to information about which of the following sources would you say you trust? Select all that apply. Only 30% actually chose Fauci. 15% chose Biden. And 10% chose the news media, the bought-off lamestream fake media, as I call it. Put it another way, almost 90% of Americans don't trust the media when it comes to, and fewer than 1 in 5 trust Biden. Now listen. Now, you might be saying, well, they just chose a bunch of people who were, anti-this and that. The numbers are even more staggering when one considers the fact that 74% of the respondents were, And they know it's fallen apart because you have some entities that are stepping up and going, oh, we made a mistake. Quote, we failed, end quote. Danish newspaper apologizes for publishing official narratives without questioning them. This from Zero Hedge. In August, Germany's top newspaper, Bild, apologized for the outlet's fear-driven coverage. Now a newspaper in Denmark has publicly apologized for reporting government narratives surrounding the and without questioning them. Quote, we failed, end quote, reads the article's headline, which goes on to admit that, quote, for almost 2 years, we, the press and the population, have been almost hypnotically preoccupied with the authorities' daily data, fake data. Quote, in all, the messages of the authorities and politicians to the people in this historic crisis leave much to be desired. And therefore, they lie as they have written when parts of the population lose confidence in them. End quote. Lies, lies, and more lies are coming home to roost. Unfortunately, there are a huge number of fatalities that have occurred that could have been prevented. How do we end this? You take this video. You take the videos we have at davejanda.com, the content we have there, and we network it to everyone and everyone you know and love. The more people we have educated, the more people we have empowered, and the more people we have empowered, the sooner we end this reign of terror by the deep state. Fact. We all have to up our game in this regard. I will do everything possible to network this information. The more people that come to davejanda.com, the more people that get the facts. Fact, fact, fact. I will do everything possible, which is why I'm still on this platform, to get you over there to get all the data, all the information, whether it's on this, whether it's on this, whether it's on climate change, whether it's on financial issues, whether it's on the Great Reset, whether it's on the educational system, whether it's on the legal system. We cover it all. We're comprehensive. I put it all there for you. And I know many of you have taken the effort to network it. And sometimes you're not treated very well by the very people you're trying to help. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But that doesn't mean we should stop trying. We owe it. We owe it to the kids. We're just trying to grow up and and have the same type of lives we had when we were growing up. That's why I do what we do. We do it for the kids, the future of our country, the future of the world. They deserve what we had. That unfortunately, the deep state and the criminal syndicate, the technocrats of the world, the Faucis, want to deny them. And we cannot let that happen. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today. We hope you will join us at davejanda.com 24/7. The freedom beacon of truth and light is on for you 24/7 at davejanda.com. Thanks for your time today.